Hey guys. I didn't announce this. I was gonna do this stream or anything. I am not drunk. Not drunk. Not it. I didn't announce I was gonna do this or anything. I was just inspired to go live for a little late night stream where I might pontificate, I might ruminate, I might spill some tea, I might say some ill-advised things, I might answer some questions if people have them. I always think the idea of an AMA is funny because, like, why do people care what I think, really? Or, like, why do they care about, like you could ask the silliest questions in an AMA. It's like, you could ask, like, tonight I got asked, I did one on Twitter, and, tonight I got asked, like, if you were in the French Quarter in New Orleans for the first time, what would you do? And I was like, that's actually a really good question. I don't know why anyone would think to ask me that question specifically, but it's a really great question because New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. The French Quarter is amazing. Don't go to Bourbon Street. Don't waste your time on Bourbon Street. Go to Royal Street where the art galleries are. It's one street over from Bourbon Street. And I love New Orleans. Don't go in any voodoo shops. Don't mess around with voodoo in New Orleans. No, 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 no joke. Don't do that. Mm-mm. Eat some oysters with the Parmesan cheese on it, or just, raw. New Orleans has some of the best food in the world. Like, you do not have any bad restaurant experiences in New Orleans. At least that's been my experience. Oh yeah, but voodoo is very real, and it's not something that you screw with, like, at all. No way. So I was thinking tonight about oh, Reagan, don't feel like you have to stay up if you were about to go to bed. Let me get a water. Hang on. I should have had my water ready to go. I have a cherry bubbly. A bubbly of the cherry variety. Let me get it in my Altia's a tasty tumbler. I was thinking tonight about just how perception is so funny, isn't it? A few years ago, something I perceived as bad actually turns out to be a really, really, really good thing. Or people that I used to perceive as being literally Hitler actually turn out to be, well, I think perhaps some of the people who are handling the reality of our world the best, even though I might not agree with them. But isn't that funny how perception works? How, like, this is why, people get pissed at me when I say there's no good and bad, but the reality is, it's like you can perceive something as bad one minute and then get new information or get the benefit of hindsight or get any of these other things, and all of a sudden that thing that you thought was bad actually turned out not to be that bad. It actually turned out to be probably a good thing. You know? Uptight people get so bent out of shape when I say there is no such thing as good and bad. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Why wouldn't you want people to consider different possibilities? The only reason you don't want people to consider different possibilities is if you want to control people. But I absolutely and definitely did not smoke any weed from the weed store. I would never do such a thing before going live on the internet. It would never happen. I don't know why you would ask such a thing. I don't think this is true. I would never find myself in a situation where I would need to perceive things as absolute good or absolute bad. I don't think that that's true. Let me give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. So, I happened to be looking at the accounts tonight of the morons on Twitter that just are obsessed with me, right? And I like to torture myself with that because it is a weird thing to have, and I've talked about this before, whatever, this is my stream, I'll do what I want, I'll talk about it again. It is a weird thing to have, like, a group of unhinged people on the internet, like, obsessed with you and stalking you and posting about you at all times. It's like my own little psychology experiment where, like, I know what the truth is because obviously it's my life, right? But then I have this group of people who have literally made me the center of their universe, and they invent all these things about me that are not based in reality at all, and they put me in all sorts of different scenarios that are just completely unhinged from what the truth is. They literally it's like I'm kinda like their own, like, Barbie doll, where, like, they've taken this creation that they are convinced is me, but it's really just like this caricature of me, and they put this caricature in all these different situations that have nothing to do with reality, and I just sit back and I watch these people and I go, "This is a fascinating psychology experiment." It is. It is. Oh, I'm not talking about the groypers, Milo. Yeah, I mean, no, like, there are still groypers around, like, they're still around. Not as many, which I think is a good thing. They do get distracted so easily, don't they? But there are definitely still groypers around. But that's just it. It's like this is one of the things I was thinking about tonight. We'll come back to that in a minute. But I wanna go back to my story. So I was checking in on the unhinged moron brigade that, stalks me on Twitter and pretends that they know everything about me when they really don't know anything about me. And one of them was posting about, "Did you guys know that Walkaway had their 5th year anniversary tonight?" The big 5th year Walkaway anniversary event was tonight, and they live streamed it apparently. And the only reason I know this is because the Unhinged Moron Brigade on Twitter was, like, tweeting about it, and I gotta tell you guys, like, oh my god, I spent 6 months of my life at Brandon Strauch's beck and call in 2020, and when Brandon Strauch's best friends started smearing me on the internet because they were pissed off that I became a libertarian instead of becoming a conservative, as I guess I apparently was obligated to become a conservative, but they were pissed off that I became a libertarian and Brandon Strauch's best friend started smearing me all over the internet, and I was really upset about this, for a long time, and I never understood why Brandon wouldn't step in and stop him because I really thought that Brandon was my friend. That was why I gave up so much to help him in 2020, and, he just refused to do it, and that just led to me not doing anything with Walkaway anymore because they spread all these smear campaigns, and apparently it was my fault that Brandon Strauch's best friend did that, and, uh and it was just like, they didn't want anyone like, Brandon always used to lie and say that Walkaway was a journey, not a destination, and, but they didn't really want anyone to become a libertarian. They just wanted everyone to become conservatives. They really thought that that was, like, the only choice people had, but they wanted to trick people into thinking they had choice. Anyway, so I was out because I became a libertarian and they smeared me all over the internet for my trouble. And that was really upsetting to me. It really, really was. And, that was upsetting to me for a long time. But Walkaway also fundamentally changed because after Brandon got arrested for January 6th and all that bullshit, his focus became about avenging himself because he's a narcissist in some I think he is. I don't know that for sure. I shouldn't have said that. Well, as soon as I became a libertarian, I was kicked out of Walkaway, so you can read into that what you will. Look at who Walkaway works with. Does Walkaway work with any libertarians? No, they don't. They only work with conservatives. They only fundraise from conservatives. Anyway, so I was upset about that, but I also kind of wasn't really because I was also kind of ready to be done with that part of my life. It was such a weird time. Um, so fast forward to tonight and the past couple years, Walk Away, so far as I know, hasn't really been doing anything. Like I don't know why people still give money to them because I don't know what they're doing with it. Um, but they had their big 5th year anniversary tonight. And so I looked at the live stream. I was like, how many people went to this big 5th year anniversary? Well, let's see, because I posted a picture on Twitter. This is the crowd at the giant Walk Away 5-year anniversary. Now, I've spoken at my fair share of conferences. I've spoken at big conferences, I've spoken at little conferences, and I know exactly what this is. This is a tiny little conference room with maybe a couple hundred people, and it's got a tiny little stage, and the people in that crowd were never Democrats, maybe onesies and twosies here and there, but the fact of the matter is, and this has always been the case, this has always been my experience, the people that went to walkaway events were not Democrats, they were conservatives, and they weren't Democrats that left the party and became conservatives, they were always conservatives. And so I just think there's this beautiful symmetry to the fact that Brandon brought all of these big time conservative Republicans to this event. Who was there tonight? Like Laura Trump, Rudy Giuliani was there, like a whole bunch of influencers, I guess. Like all of the like Katie Hopkins was there, like all these big time conservative influencers, and the most that they could draw to the big walkaway 5-year anniversary event was a couple hundred people at an airport hotel, which airport hotels are like, some airport hotels are nice, but a lot of airport hotels are like not as nice as non-airport hotels. And this is the big culmination of Walkaway. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And there was just something so beautiful about this where I gave up so much of my time and my energy to this guy, so many weekends that I can never get back, so much time with my husband that I can never get back. And it all went to hell because I refused to become a conservative and chose to become a libertarian instead. And then I had to deal with years, and I mean years, of Brandon Strzok's best friends smearing me all over the internet as retribution for the fact that I didn't follow the talking points. And here's what I missed out on, guys. Here it is, right here. Here is what I missed out on. I missed out on being in a tiny ass little conference room at an airport hotel, a room filled with conservatives that were never Democrats, listening to like second and third rate influencers who are so much stupider than me for the most part. It's not even funny. This is what I missed out on. Curses. Curses, curses me, curses me. Anyway, I bring that up because yes, exactly. I missed out on the lamest of parties. So it's one of those things, right? Where it's like my perception a couple years ago was very, very different than my perception today. And then I look back, I'm like, why were you even ever upset about that? Well, I was upset because I thought someone was my friend that didn't turn out to be my friend. Several people didn't turn out to be my friend. But did I lose out on anything? Like really? No. No. And I hate to be that guy, but like, man, how many folks does Pork Fest draw? Several thousand. I think like 3,000, 2 to 3,000, something like that. A lot more than what we're in that conference room, I'll tell you that. I probably had more people stop by my PorkFest, like, campsite to get merch than were in that conference room. So it's just one of those things, it's like you always have to keep this stuff in perspective, you know? Something that might seem like the end of the world today, you might have a completely different experience of that thing, or maybe that thing was not meant to be for whatever reason, and certainly wasn't meant to be for me. I'm not gonna show conservative talking points my entire life. Anyway, I'm gonna scroll back up because I did know. Yes, Murphy. Well, if you guys wanna ask me questions, then ask me questions, like anything, whatever. I'll do an AMA, or I'll just talk, or, whatever. What is my email? You can send it to activelyunwoke@gmail.com and it'll get to me. I don't know that I'll react to it right now. Yeah, so I wanna go back to Milo's question. So there are still groypers around for sure. Um, Nick responded to me on Twitter like a couple times the other day, and that got the groypers back in my feed. But like not all the groypers. I went through like a blocking of a lot of the groypers. I wouldn't even say a lot. Like I don't even think I actually blocked a lot. I don't think I did. Maybe a couple dozen. But the ones that I blocked were like being just so vocal and in my face on the race stuff. And I said to them specifically, I was like, I'm not going to talk about this race stuff. I don't want this in my feed. I think it's toxic. It's not something I want to interact with. And they just keep going and going and going and going and going. And it's like, all right, well, we have different values. I don't want to see this shit. And so it is what it is. And, so I definitely blocked maybe a couple dozen, but I really didn't even block that many. I think a lot of them just kinda, like, moved on, which is fine. Um, but there are definitely still groypers hanging around, and I actually like the groypers. I enjoy them. The ones that are hanging around now, they're much calmer, the ones that are hanging around now. They're still a little, you know, incorrigible, I suppose. But you know what I would love to do if I had my way? Maybe I should just ask him to do this. You know what I would love to do is I wanna guys, hold the questions for a second. I like if you have them, I guess put them in the chat, but I might ask you to ask the questions again if I don't feel like scrolling back. You know what I would love to do is I would love to like interview Nick Fuentes in a way that like no one else that I know of on the internet has interviewed him. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, maybe I'm like the only person on the internet that can actually do this because I'm not sure Murphy's pool. Sure. I might not answer it, but you can ask. I really think I might be the only person on the internet that can do like what I have in mind because I would love to interview Nick in a way that would like humanize him. Because then has anyone else ever really done that? I mean, for real, like he goes on these podcasts and like, I suppose they're good for reaching a certain type of audience and it's like a pop culture thing and I get it, but like has anyone ever actually been interested in understanding like genuinely, not no bullshit, no gotcha questions, like genuinely interested in understanding that guy? Like anyone that interviews him probably is just going to be doing it for clout, and I don't care about having clout from Nick's audience. Or they're gonna be trying to, like, play these gotcha games with him where they're trying to expose him or any of these things, and I don't care about doing that. It would be interesting, wouldn't it? Like, I genuinely wanna know what it's like to be that guy. I mean, truly, he's like this I don't wanna say iconic, but he kind of is. Nick Fuentes, like, the image of him is like it's almost like a caricature, isn't it? It's like everyone in the world thinks they know who this guy is, but does anyone really know who this guy is? And I can't I have a hard time believing that Pearl would be able to do what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I've underestimated the girl, I don't think so, but maybe. Like, what is it like to be that guy? What is it like to be the most canceled person in the world by the before you can buy a beer? What like, I wanna, like I mean, geez, there's so many questions. How does one get to be baby Hitler? Like, how did all this work? Anyway, if I had my way and I could snap my fingers and make him hop too, that's what I would wanna know. Like, he's had so many smear campaigns against him, he's the target of hit pieces, like, all the time, and he just, like, keeps going and just seems to I don't know. Yeah, like, who is he when he's not on the internet? Like, what's character and what's I don't know. That would be interesting. Like, I don't wanna debate him on topics, like, I would like to understand more about his perceptions of some of these topics because, again, it's even like his political position. Everyone who talks about, like, what Nick's political position is, usually is, like, again, using it as a gotcha against him. He doesn't, Murphy's Pool. He doesn't. He doesn't. Thank you for the super chat. That would be interesting. What did Pearl ask him? Like, did she actually interview him? Was it actually, like, a good interview? I don't know. I can't watch that though, like, I can't watch her for that long, I cannot. I would throw something at something and then I would break something and, that wouldn't be good for anyone. Let me see. What other questions do people have? Let me know in the chat. I'm sorry if I missed your questions from earlier. I think that Nick is far superior to John Doyle. I used to have to watch a lot of John Doyle because back when Alex and I were doing Sassy Saturday, Alex always wanted to watch John Doyle. And I was like, okay, John Doyle's kind of smart, but I also think that John Doyle is kind of boring. And I don't know, like I think his presentation leaves a little bit to be desired. I think that Nick is smarter. I think Nick is probably more well-read. Like, John Doyle, when I've been watching him, where when I used to watch him, I haven't watched him in a very long time. Um, but like, he was, like, reading off a script. It was like watching one of the socialists read off a script, whereas I think that Nick is just better at going kind of, like, off the cuff. What music do you listen to, and are you a Morgan Page fan? No, I don't know who Morgan Page is. Oh, let me see. Let me see what is in my Spotify. Let me see. I'm weird with music in that, like, oftentimes if I'm working or something, I will just I'll put on like a song like and then just loop it and I just get into a cadence with like it's like having the same song on in the background over and over and over again, listen to it like a whole bunch of times. I don't know why I do that exactly. Some of my favorite bands, well, Placebo, definitely. Placebo is my favorite band of all time. I love Placebo. Um, 30 Seconds to Mars, although I prefer their older stuff to their newer stuff by a pretty significant degree. AFI, I like. Flyleaf, I like their older stuff. I've been listening to them a lot lately, actually. Dresden Dolls. I love the Dresden Dolls. I know that she's like a raging like progressive, like probably socialist, but she's just so talented that I can't help myself, okay? Um I listen to a lot of emo music mostly, like emo music from like the 90s and the aughts. So, How am I feeling? It's been a long time since anyone's asked me that. I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I was doing my best Meghan Markle. How am I feeling? Um, Pretty black-pilled, if I'm honest. I think I've kind of reached the point where, like, I have truly and sincerely, like, run out of fucks to give. I just don't care anymore. I feel like I have completely regressed in age. Like, I feel like younger than I've ever felt in my life. I feel like it's a weird thing in that, like, I feel like when I was in my 20s, I was, like, acting like a 40 something or what I thought a 40 something should act like, and now that, like, I'm in my 40s, I'm, like, acting like a 20 something, and it just feels completely natural, and I think that part of the reason that I've, like, regressed like this is that I have truly and sincerely just run out of fucks to give. Truly and sincerely. I have seen how absurd the world is and how no one cares and how people just use each other, and it's just like this power game. It's like a constant power game with everyone around you, and it's just like, why should I put on pretense for people like this? Why? Why should I pretend I like things I don't for people like this? Why should I pretend to be something I'm not for people like this? Why? What is the point? What is the point? So I'm feeling pretty black-pilled, but I also, there's also kind of a freedom in that, isn't there? In that there's a freedom in that, because if I really feel like all hope is lost, then why would I why would I hold myself back personally from things that I want to do to take advantage of, like, whatever time we have left before things really do go to hell, and I think they will at some point, and I think it'll happen in my lifetime, and, maybe soon. I think we're gonna be in the Marxist utopia by 2050, and, maybe it'll happen sooner, maybe it won't. So it's almost one of those things, like, you have to take advantage of the time you have, you have to be who you are, you have to go after what you want, and I think a lot about, like, societal constructions of what I should want, like, you know, I basically had a midlife crisis and became a YouTuber, like, accidentally, and some people might frown on that, but it's worked out pretty well, actually. I mean, like, I'm pretty lucky in that I I literally right now make money saying what I think and being myself on the internet. Like, that's actually kinda cool if you think about it. Like, I make a living. I make a fucking salary more than a lot of people make in a year by being myself on the internet. Isn't that cool? And all that had to happen is I had to run out of fucks to give in order to do it. And I had to go, "Well, this is what I wanna do in the world. This is what I wanna contribute." I am genuinely obsessed with what I stream about and talk about. It's not, you can't fake this type of obsession. Like, I hope people understand that. You cannot fake this type of obsession. I will sit here and watch socialism all day. The like, seriously, one of the only things holding me back from watching more socialism and more of these far left videos is at some point I feel like I'm going to wear out my audience. And so I feel like I have to pace things a little bit better. But if I had my way, I would probably sit here all day, every day, just watching socialism and, like, the far left activist stuff, and just find clip after clip after clip after clip after clip after clip. If I didn't think it would wear everyone out, how cool is it that I can quite literally spend my days feeding my obsession, make money on it, explain things to people along the way, get people excited about the same things that I'm excited about. That's pretty cool. So even though the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and even though I look like a crazy person on the internet, I feel like I have found my voice more than I've ever had in my life before, and I feel like I get to spend my days doing things I like doing, and, maybe if I do it good enough or I do it long enough or I just, finally put it out there that I'm not fucking around, like, maybe people will start to listen. Someone told me they took their kids out of school the other day because of a story I reported on. That was pretty cool. So, I guess I'm feeling okay, all things considered. How do you think New Hampshire will vote in 2024 in general? I have no idea. I really don't. I have no idea. Probably for Biden. I have no idea. They don't like Trump here. They really dislike Trump here. So, My Chemical Romance, I didn't dislike My Chemical Romance, but I never got into My Chemical Romance as much as other people did. Like, I was much more into, like, 30 Seconds to Mars than I was My Chemical. I have a 30 Seconds to Mars tattoo. That's how into, like, 30 Seconds to Mars I was. I don't regret it too. I think it's a cool tattoo. I'll probably get it covered up when I ever finish this sleeve, but, like, Jared Leto just climbed the Empire State Building the other day. Like, that was cool, man. Like, good for that. That guy's like, he's like in his 50s. He's in his 50s. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, I didn't see the results in Minnesota, but yeah, Minnesota, I need to look into that because, like, I know that Minneapolis is like a hotbed for this stuff. Like, you guys are really apt, like, truly. And it's a shame because, like, Minneapolis is one of my favorite cities. Minneapolis is such a cool city. It really is. I've always enjoyed my visits there, and, I used to have clients there, so I used to go there quite a bit, and they had good food, good beer, good walking city. It's a shame, it really is. Really good food. Some of the best, steaks I've ever had in my life were in Minneapolis. Kazmar, your favorite meal you could eat every day for a week. So I make these, well, I don't know if I can make them anymore. I make these really good burritos with the Cabot habanero cheese. If you've never had Cabot habanero cheese, it's really effing good. Really good. But, I make these burritos that I used to use, like, ground pork, and then they stopped selling it at my local store, so I don't know, I need to find another supplier, I guess, for my ground pork. Like, ground pork and, like, yellow rice and this, like, amazing cheese, and it's, like, the best burrito in the world, and there there may have been times, although not recently, where I did eat that burrito every day for a week because it was really just that effing good. Could replace it sometimes with chicken. Sometimes I even used to make it with tofu. I went through a whole tofu phase where I made like anything as long as you have the cheese, that's all that matters. Thank you for the super chat, Casmar. Appreciate it. Let me see what other questions do people have. I will either just pontificate about what's going on in the world or you can ask me questions. What is the most scary thing I've ever knitted? I don't know that I've knit anything scary. I don't know that I've knit anything scary, Bobby. I'll have to think on that. What major event will occur in the USA in in the world in the next 3 to 6 months? I don't know if it's gonna be in the next 3 to 6 months, but it's definitely gonna be before the 2024 election is we're gonna see another round of BLM riots. And it might not be BLM specifically because it's going to be that crowd though. It's gonna be some sort of like race related riot or uprising. I think we are definitely gonna see it before the next election. The reason I say this, and I've been warning people about this, is there's like infighting going on with the socialists where like the black the black feminist socialists are not happy that the queer socialists are getting all the attention. And so I think we're going to see critical race theory come back. But there also could be like other social justicey things woven into it. It really kind of depends. Like, because like for example, if someone shoots a drag queen, all bets are off. If there's like a trans Floyd incident, then queer Marxism is back on top. And and it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could do some false flag if they don't get what they're looking for, if there's not some sort of like inciting thing, then they'll probably end up doing a false flag of some sort. But we're definitely going to see another round of like major destructive protests before the next presidential election. I don't know exactly when it's going to be though. Let me see. Just scrolling through the chat, guys. I wish Jared Leto had had more opportunity to develop the Joker character because he's a phenomenal actor, and I think he could have done so much more with it than he did. But Heath Ledger is like the ultimate Joker. I mean, that guy was amazing. What an amazing role. I see you do not see comments on X. Oh, there's like a chat now on Twitter, isn't there? Hang on. No, I don't think Twitter is integrated with StreamYard yet, but let me I can pull up my chat. I hope there aren't bad comments. Let me see. Can I see a chat here? There's no chat here. Dan is lying. No, but I can't see whatever is going on in the chat on Twitter right now because I'm not looking at that. Rottweiler, I don't think that it's all lost, but sure, the CCP has ruled for 70 plus years and the USSR fell after 70 years, but everything we're doing sows doubt and counter revolution starts small. I'm pretty white pilled. Hey man, like I guess plan for the worst, hope for the best. You might be right. I mean, the reason I'm more black pilled than white pilled is because of the ownership of all the institutions. Because most people truly have no idea that the left owns the schools. They own the schools and we are never getting them back. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize the severity of the problem. So, but maybe there's hope. I don't know. In your view, do you think the war in Ukraine will end before the 2024 election? Yeah, probably. They'll get Zelensky to give away the Donbass and just be done with it. Have you ever considered doing a makeup tutorial channel as a decompressing side gig? No, 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 no. My smoky eye technique is I put eyeliner on the bottom, and then I take a brush and I dip it in the powder eyeshadow and I plaster that shit on everywhere. It's really not that hard. Let's see. Terry, good to see you. I've been listening to Wham, and I'd like to know if you'd wake me up before you go. Well, Terry, anything for you, my friend. I will wake you up before you go. Well, aren't you gay? Aren't you gay? I'm not the one you should be asking that, Terry. God. No, I don't mean a false well, I guess maybe a little bit like Jesse Smollett. I guess maybe a little bit like that. Maybe. Have I ever tried coke? Nope. No, I haven't. I don't actually believe in doing recreational drugs aside from a select few. That's true. I mean, like I'm not just running around doing anything. Like I think weed is fine. I don't actually think weed is even really a drug. I mean, weed is a plant. I don't like mushrooms are fine, but like again, like mushrooms are grown, like it's like a it's it grows in nature. Like ayahuasca I do. But not even that often. I haven't done ayahuasca in years, but I would like to do a ceremony at some point, probably within the next year. I want to do at least a couple ceremonies. Just like, and I was feeling it last year too, but I really don't do drugs to be honest. Like, I smoke weed and I every once in a while do mushrooms. Like, I haven't done mushrooms in like a long ass time though. Because the last time I did mushrooms, I thought I was gonna die. Legitimately, it was kind of traumatic. I don't want to talk about it. But I don't really do anything other than that. And I don't really have a desire to either. I should start a gaming channel. No, no. There's one game that I play. There's one and only one that I play, and that's hill climb racing. That's the only game I play. That's it. I don't have time to be a gamer. What are my thoughts on the Second Amendment? That it's absolute and I should be able to own whatever I want to and it's none of your business? No, this isn't what I'm talking about. Sydney, no, this is not what I'm talking about when I say that I want to interview Nick, because I think that Sydney, and I appreciate Sydney on some levels, Sydney was trying to ask Nick gotcha questions. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't like if I ever had the chance to interview him, and again, I'm not even sure that this is a good idea, but like I might propose this. Like I'm genuinely interested in like understanding that guy. Not in a gotcha way where I'm asking him about like the age of consent or like, should women be able to vote or things like that's not what I'm talking about? So what I saw of that interview with Sydney, I think it was more of like a gotcha interview, and I don't actually care enough about his positions to see. This is part of like being blackpilled, right? Because I'm like, why the fuck do I care? Like, if Nick Fuentes wants a Christian monarchy, like, what the fuck do I care? Like, the reason I don't want the race stuff around me is the race stuff feels energetically toxic. But the rest of it, I'm like, okay, so people have crazy beliefs, like whatever. He's never gonna get his Christian monarchy anyway. And so like it's literally never going to happen. Like in the way things are right now, there's no possibility of that happening. And so let the kid dream. Like who cares? He's allowed to have opinions. And I think a lot of people like want to play these gotcha games, and I don't think that it's productive. I don't know. If you had to identify as a non-conforming gender, which would you pick? This is an awful question, John. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna pass. I don't know the answer to that. Would you watch the new Hunger Games movie? Yes. I am psyched about the new Hunger Games movie. That reminds me, George, because I was gonna get Victor and I tickets the other day, and I forgot, and I was like I put it on my list and I just didn't do it. But no, I really want to see the new Hunger Games movie. I'm very excited about it. I hope it doesn't suck. I love the Hunger Games movie. The Hunger Games movies are some of my favorite movies. Um, and this looks good, so I will be more than happy to do that. I do like half the people who watch me are gay. It's true. Do I like Depeche Mode? I don't hate Depeche Mode. I like Enjoy the Silence is probably one of my favorite songs, like, ever, but I like Anne Boleyn's cover of Enjoy the Silence more than I like Depeche Mode's version of it. So, do you think pharmaceuticals are bad drugs? I mean, I think to each their own. I just think that if I'm going to put something in my body, like, of that variety, of something that's like of a mind altering variety, um, I would prefer that it be something that actually, like, exists in nature that isn't, like, being futzed around with by human beings. So that's why, like, weed, mushrooms, ayahuasca, like, ayahuasca's a leaf and a vine, and then you make a tea out of it, you know? Like, I feel comfortable with those things. I've never done LSD either for that reason, and I don't think I would. Uh, I did do DMT, which was probably the closest to, like, pharmaceutical that I've ever gotten, but it was worth it. Well, yeah, but I can actually grow it in my backyard if I mean, well, in theory, I could. Like, I think you can say the origin of anything is a plant, but, you know, there's a process of cultivation. I've never microdosed mushrooms. Some people say that that's, like, a really productive thing to help them, like, creatively, but I've never tried that. Maybe someday. Of all the movies, I never would have expected your favorite movie to be The Ten Commandments. Yep, my favorite movie is The Ten Commandments, true story. Yul Brynner is great. I like the story. I've always liked Bible stories, always. My grandmother used to read me Bible stories growing up. I had a whole Bible story set. I've always just liked Bible stories, and I think The Ten Commandments is a great movie. I think it holds up even to this day. I could sit down and watch the whole thing and be perfectly happy. I've seen it probably several dozen times at this point. It's a great movie. I actually have met another person named Carlin with my exact spelling in real life. It was funny. So there are lots of different ways to spell my name, and like Carlyn, Carlin, like there are all different derivations of my name. And so anyone that I had met previous to probably 6, 7 years ago, they had my name, but it may have been a different spelling. But I went to this conference in Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore. Yeah. And and there was another Carlin, Karlyn, at the conference, and we were like, and both of us, we had never met anyone with like that exact name before, and we like took a picture together. It's still on my Instagram to this day. If you scroll back, she's like an older lady. Um like there's it still exists on my Instagram to this day. But I've only met one other Carlin with my name. Dr. K, who would you rate as the three most annoying right wing influencers of all time? I pick Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk, Carl Benjamin. Matt Walsh is definitely on the list. 100%. Mm-hmm. Um, who else? Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate would definitely be on the list. I don't find Carl Benjamin to be annoying. I find him to be a little out of touch. I find him to be a little pompous. There's never been an interaction that I've had with Carl Benjamin where he wasn't talking down to me. I don't like that. Even if I didn't say anything to him or do anything to him. Let's see. Who is the third most annoying? I mean, I do think that Charlie Kirk is pretty fucking annoying, if I'm honest about it. I mean, Ben Shapiro is insufferable these days. I don't know. Do you think we will see socialism in our lifetime? Yes, I do. I think we're gonna be in the Marxist utopia by about 2050. I actually just wrote about this on my website, on my Substack the other day. I think 2050 is my guess at the moment. And I wrote about why on the website, and there's a whole rationale, and there's like math involved and like all this stuff. And so you can go to the website and read about it if you want. Let me see. Have I heard of the YouTube channel Fab Socialism? No. What's that about? What's the best feeling in the world? I don't know, bot. I'm gonna think on that. I don't know. Wonder, maybe? I don't know. What do I think of the Daily Wire's version of Snow White? That it's a stupid idea. Like, do something creative. Like, truly, do something. Like, why are they remaking Snow White? Make something new. Do I like Taking Back Sunday? Not really. I mean, I think maybe a song or two here and there, but not really. Let's see. If I could live in a different time period, what would I pick? Hmm. I would want to live as a member of the royal court in Tudor England. But as a member of the court, like not like a peasant. Like I want to wear, I know this is going to be ironic. I want to wear like the dresses and like all that stuff as like a rich lady at court. I would do that. Are there any non-binary they them libertarians? I'm sure there are, but I don't know any. But I'm sure there are. What was my favorite cartoon growing up? Ren and Stimpy, probably. Am I religious at all? I'm deeply spiritual, but I don't ascribe to any major religion. I think that religion is just about controlling people. And some people like I don't begrudge people practicing religion. People should be able to do whatever they want. Um but I religion isn't for me. But I'm very spiritual and I have like a connection with God and all that stuff and I believe in Jesus. I do, just not in the same way that Christians do. Terry, thank you for the super chat. I'm gay. That's why you put the boom boom into my heart. Why do you think the gays love you? I think the gays love me because I have a more masculine energy. I don't know. Like I know why the lesbians like me because the lesbians all want to fuck me. But like I truly don't know like gay men, why do you like me? Honestly, cuz like gay men love me. They do. Bisexual men like me too. I don't mind. I love gay men and bisexual men. Everyone but the straight men. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. What made me want to study psychology? Wanting to understand people, I guess. No, I mean, I wanted to study organizational psychology specifically because I had a really shitty work experience and I ended up leaving the job that I had a really shitty work experience at, and I went to another job. And at that other job, there was a director of professional development who was an industrial organizational psychologist, and she took me under her wing. And I just kind of became fascinated with it, and became fascinated with like the inner workings of like the workplace and social systems and stuff like that. And so I just wanted to learn more about it, and I didn't want to do marketing the rest of my life. I had been a professional marketer, like I was like one of the early like digital marketers, like before Like, I'd been building websites since I was, like, 15 years old, and I knew about digital marketing. I was doing, like, stuff on social media before a lot of people were, and, but I didn't wanna do marketing for the rest of my life. I found it actually pretty boring, and, you know, I wanted to study psychology, so I did. Let's see. Do I have any black friends? Yes, I do. I have black friends, I do. Carla says, "I'm bi and I love you." John Morgan says, "I'm fun." George says he likes me because of the masculine energy. Does Victor get mad because I'm online a lot? No, Victor doesn't get mad. He doesn't. Victor never gets mad at me. Victor takes care of me. Will you bring back sassy streams? Well, I mean, like Alex would have to come back with me, and I don't know that he wants to do that. And he seems to be doing great. I see his videos. He's losing a lot of weight. He's looking good and good for him. And I wish him nothing but the best. I've always loved Alex. Glad we got to have the sassy Saturdays that we did. But I like Socialism Saturday. I think that Socialism Saturday was like an upgrade. I'm sick of Disney remakes from Disney. I don't want it from other companies. I'm sick of all remakes. I think all remakes should be banned. Can we please tell a new story? Like, please? Do I have a singing voice? For some things, I guess. Every once in a while, I sing. Can you hook me up with a studio supply list, please? Okay, Kino, we can talk about that. Can I sing opera, John? No, I can't sing opera. No, no, no. Can I dance? No, I cannot dance. I will not dance. Can't dance, won't dance. Mm-mm. All right, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I don't know the answer to this. I don't like that's way too complicated for me. I'm not the astrologer. Joshua's the astrologer. What's my favorite luxury brand? I don't know that I have one. I don't know that I have one. I have some luxury stuff. Like I've got Louis Vuitton stuff, but I don't know. I'm kind of like over it to be honest. Like I'm over like a lot of that stuff. Oh no, I just block them and be done with it. Go away. How did I meet Joshua? Joshua used to be a psychic at the Tremont Tea Room in Boston. The Tremont Tea Room was like this really famous, very, very old like psychic like parlor. And and Joshua did readings there. Joshua grew up in Boston and I used to get readings there and I used to go in person there, but then the pandemic. Well, no, this was actually before the pandemic, wasn't this? Was way before the pandemic. Like I had stopped working in Boston and I'd gotten a job in New Hampshire. And so I wasn't going to Boston as much because I used to go to Boston every day. And I went on their website because I had some questions that I wanted answered. And Joshua's picture was on the front of their website, visiting psychic. And I was like, well, he looks kind of normal. And so I picked him and I emailed him my questions and he answered them. And then that was it. That was how I met him. Can I see that Marx basically adulterated the whole idea of spirituality? I wouldn't say that. I'm not there with you, Sarah. That's not to say I won't get there eventually. I'm just not there right now. God, the world is funny right now. And part of me's like, I don't know if like I perceive the world to be funny just because I spend so much time on the internet, and that's like our perception of the world is going to be created by the things that we spend the most time around, right? It's just so funny. I never would have thought if you had told me a couple years ago that we would be living in a world where Dave Rubin is calling for the censorship of free speech and trying to get people fired for disagreeing with him, and Nick Fuentes was going to be the voice of reason. What a time to be alive. Kino, thank you for the super chat. With all the undercover investigations that you've done with community members, are we making a difference? Can we win? Because I think we can. I think we're making a difference. I think we definitely make a difference. I think the difference we make is going to be in parents taking their kids out of school. And we might never know how many people we impact. I don't think the difference that we make is going to be that like we get our stuff covered in the mainstream, because the mainstream has made it very, very clear to me that we're way too far ahead for them. They don't understand most of it. And I'm just not inclined to continue to explain it to them. But I think we make a difference in the lives of real people, and I think that that's actually much more important, and that's the road I wanna go down. I kinda wanna be like I was thinking about this earlier tonight. I really wanna be in this place where I wanna fly under the radar as much as possible and just get as close as I possibly can to working with, like, real people, like, normal people. I don't wanna go on these shows, I don't wanna be on the news, I don't wanna be one of those people that's, like, landing in, like, New York Times and stuff like that. I just don't want that. I don't think it's productive, because I think it just, like I think it puts a target on your back, and I had a target on my back, and I don't want that anymore, and, so my preference is to fly under the radar as much as possible and just do our thing. You know, I hadn't even watched his show for, like, the longest time. Milo says, "I used to really like Dave Rubin when he did actual long-form interviews with people. Now he just phones it in and plays clips of The View all the time. He sucks." It's like, it's just too bad. It's just too bad. Whatever. Would you ever consider a job as a dominatrix? No. No, I'm not. I'm much more submissive than I am dommy in real life. What about in the Marxist utopia? Would you like to see Sophie in a cat suit? I would. Sophie has naked pictures on her Instagram. Like, do you want to see Sophie naked on her Instagram? Oh god, Sophie's not going to be happy I did this. Hang on. Hang on. There she is. I found her. Oh, found her. Okay. Hang on. This is Sophie's Instagram. Sophie is my Abolish the Family goddess for people who don't know. Nick Fuentes was not my first internet affair. Sophie Lewis was my first internet affair. And let's see. This is Sophie naked on the internet with, I think, a guy that she's sleeping with. That's not her live-in partner, who is a woman. Let's see. This is Sophie's partner that she lives with and has for 12 years. Let's see. Is this the one where Sophie's naked? I mean, she's got good boobs. You got to give her that. She does. Oh, there's. This is actually like a fucking sexy ass picture of Sophie. I have to say, man, Sophie, I almost turned lesbian for this picture, Sophie. I almost did. That's a sexy ass picture. Anyway. I mean, they kept scheduling me and then backing out. So I was just like, after a while, I was like, all right, deuces. Like, I don't even want to do that anymore, honestly. Have I been to Denver recently? Nope, I haven't really been anywhere recently. But you know, you're not wrong about that, Lacey. Like Colorado is getting uber woke. You're not actually wrong about this. I would Colorado, like Denver, but Colorado just in general, but like definitely Denver. Here are the most woke cities. Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Burlington, Vermont, Denver, Colorado, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Chicago, Illinois. Those are the most woke ones, I think. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's see. Do I think I could have been BFFs with Sophie in another life? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Why did I discard Henry so fast? Well, you know, this is a good point. Maybe I was like, maybe I was a little quick to let go of Henry. You know, fair point, Rottweiler. Maybe we'll invite Henry back into the fray. Fair point. Fair point. Let me see. Some people are asking questions I just don't like have a good answer for, so I'm just skipping them. Sorry. All right, now I'm to the bottom of the chat. Ask if I didn't answer your question, ask different questions. I will answer all super chats in some way, shape, or form, but not normal questions if I don't feel like answering them. Have I ever skinny dipped? No. Nope. Nope. I'm like a wimp about cold water, though. I'm like a real wimp about it. I don't like it at all. I will go naked into a hot tub. Like, that's a different thing. I will do that. Like, I'm not going in a fucking lake. No way. Have you ever considered infiltrating socialist OnlyFans? No! Why would you do that to me? That sounds like a horrible idea. I mean, San Francisco is a progressive hellhole, but I actually don't think it's as bad as people think it is. I think it's like a perception thing. The other schools I think are way or the other cities I think are way worse. I could be wrong though. I'm not saying San Francisco's good. I don't think it's good. I just think like I don't know. Hmm. What else do you guys have? I'm like really satisfied with the way things are going right now. I'm really satisfied. I'm a little annoyed that I have to push so hard for paid subscribers to the Substack, given the amount of people who read my work and the amount of people who steal my work and all that stuff. I'm a little like, that's the only thing I'm actually really annoyed about right now is like, I need to stay on track with that. Is it because it's just like the business plan? There's just realities. And I wish I didn't have to push so hard for that, but people are responding, like, I'm on track to meet the goal I have by, like I'm actually ahead of schedule, which is really great, and I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy about the infiltration we're gonna be doing before the end of the year. I think it's just gonna be epic. For people who don't know, I posted a video about it earlier today, and I've been, like, teasing it on my Substack since last week. I'm doing this, this massive, like, multi-day woke teacher training infiltration, and I'm really excited about it, and, I think it's gonna be great. I think people are gonna be shocked. But I'm pretty satisfied with the way things are going. I'm pretty satisfied with life in general. I'm pretty, you know, even though I think we're descending into the Marxist utopia, could be worse. Would you say would you say your life I think has changed for the better since your Trump rally article? I don't know. There's a big part of me that wish that never happened. Big part of me that wish that never happened. Big part of me that wishes I had never gone on tour with the Walkaway campaign. Big part of me that wishes I had never done that PragerU video. That PragerU video was a mistake. That like there's not like that it's not even like a big part of me that wishes I'd never done that. That was a massive mistake. That was a massive mistake. So what would I say has changed for the better? I mean, again, I think that it's not an insignificant thing that I get to make money today being myself on the internet. And I can always go back and do organizational consulting if it doesn't work out. Because I still do assessments and those kinds of things, and, like, that just wouldn't be that hard, like, I've done that before, it's not that hard, to get back in and pick up consulting, but because also, the organizational training industry is kind of it's still woke, but it's not as woke as it was, like, a couple of years ago, so there's a big part of me that's pretty grateful that during the most woke time is in, like, the corporate training industry, I didn't really have to do that because I was doing the online stuff and the politics stuff. So there's something freeing about that. But I'm really kind of, I mean, I like that, but it's also like being on the internet and there are so many different choices I would have made. Never would have helped the libertarians at all. Now, that's not to say I regret becoming a libertarian because I don't in any way. I'm not leaving the libertarians. I'm still a member of the libertarians, which people think for some reason that I'm not, but I am. Still am. The reason people think I'm not is because a lot of people have lied. But I will never help another political group again, I don't think. Never, ever, ever again. Right Twix, definitely. You don't need to be scared. Why are you scared? What are they gonna do? It's gonna be fine. Don't worry. Moms for Liberty, Gays Against Groomers, Libs of TikTok. Which organization is the worst in your view? They're all bad for different reasons. Now, okay, so I want to give Libs of TikTok a bone. I don't think that Libs of TikTok is 100% negative. There are some times that Libs of TikTok brings awareness to something that is a legitimate thing. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Libs of TikTok is 100% bad because I don't. I think the drawback of Libs of TikTok is it plays to the lowest common denominator audience, and because of that, it gives their audience a false perception of what's going on that is near impossible to teach them out of because they don't want to hear it, and they're not patient enough to actually look at what's going on. And so I think that that's bad, but I also think there have been times when Libs of TikTok has brought legitimate much needed attention to something, and that's good. Moms for Liberty is a giant ass waste of tens of millions of dollars and all that organizing power that could have been used for something else. Giant astroturfed organization that is going to solve exactly zero problems. Gays Against Groomers is Jamie Mitchell's ego trip. It's nothing more than Jamie Mitchell's ego trip. It's not like they're not really doing anything, they're just taking credit for other people's work. So I guess of all of these, Moms for Liberty, I think like of all of these, like Libs of TikTok has redeeming value. Gays Against Groomers, I don't even really consider a real organization. It's one woman's fucking narcissistic like creation to like advance herself. Moms for Liberty is probably by far the worst because Moms for Liberty has cost tens of millions of dollars, all that organizing power, and has ended up creating more problems than they've solved. And there is no hope that they will ever be successful because they do not understand the problem that they're fighting. So that would be my answer. Thank you for giving me a minute to think through that. What led you to doing an online type of journal of the human experience? I think the human experience is important, and I think that we don't see enough authentic human experience online. And like what you see online is it's branding, image, presentation, darling. There's so few like real people online that are genuinely showing you who they are. And I think that that presentation of an authentic human experience is important because I think that when people see an authentic human experience, they're going to be more likely to live one themselves. And it's like there are way too many people living their lives trying to be influences that present the right image. And it's just like it's all so boring and dull to me. I don't find it to be interesting. I don't find it to be compelling. It like being an influencer like sucks the humanity out of the room, right? So that's why I wanted to do it. And if I accomplish other things along the way, that's fine too. So I am not friends with the head guy at the Walkwood. No, 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 no. Brandon Strauch can go fuck himself. Truly and sincerely. Truly and sincerely. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I'm still in touch with Gabby. We talk all the time. She's in my community. Let's see. MB, as an autistic person, have I heard anything about our little friend Dylan since Autistic Sex Education? Not really. I check in on Dylan every once in a while, and I don't think that I think that I have not seen a lot of progress, which I think is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. How do I want to be remembered 20 years, 40 years from now? I guess as a catalyst for things. Chris Rufo wouldn't be doing what he's doing if it wasn't for me. Because I found the story and broke the story that inspired Chris Rufo to get into this game. And it is very realistic to say that he could be doing something very different if it wasn't for me. I was one of the first people talking about any of this stuff at any scale. So I think I'd like to be remembered as like a catalyst for things. I want to be like one of the things. The reason that I started my Substack is because I think it's very important to document a lot of these things. I wish I could spend more time documenting things than I am right now, because there's so much more that I think needs to be documented for posterity. Like I've thought about a lot about like the idea that that the winners are the ones that will write the history books, and I want to make sure that I perceive I perceive part of my role to be documenting this time period for the history books, because I don't think we're going to win. I don't think I'm going to be on the winning team, but maybe I can make a record of things that are happening so that at least like it's like the Minority Report, right? It's like the Supreme Court dissent. It's like at least there'll be a record, hopefully, that other people saw it differently and that people were trying to fight. Like, we're trying. I don't know that we're going to win, but at least we're trying. And I want there to be a record of people trying. It's odd to know that you're going to be in the history books in some way or another. Like, I know I will be. If for nothing else, I will be because my name is in the first federal lawsuit about critical race theory in the schools. Like there there was, I mean, because I broke that story. I broke the story that became the first ever federal lawsuit about critical race theory in the schools. I was literally named in the law. Like I wasn't named like as like I was there's evidence associated with my name in that lawsuit. There's documentation associated with my name in that lawsuit. And so it's like it's odd for me to think about like I'm going to be in the history books for that. Maybe just like a footnote or something, but that's a weird thing to think about yourself as like being part of history. Anyway, I don't know how to answer better than that right now, but I'm going to think about that. Carlin, you give people strength to stand up for what they believe. I hope I do. I hope I do. Regardless of whether I agree with them or not, because that's usually, like, not the point, right? I know it's not really your main squeeze, but may I ask your opinions or feelings about the disclosure community? I don't know that I have like opinions about it other than I can't wait for the aliens to show up. Can we get on with the aliens, please? I would really like there to be aliens. I think that aliens exist for like for sure. I very much track with like all like the disclosure stuff. I think it's cool. I think Stephen Greer's stuff is really cool. Stephen Greer's meditations are really cool. Um, like Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind type stuff. Can we please just get to the fucking aliens already? I think that'd be great. Naruto said, for people who don't know, one of Carlin's chief haters is Brandon Strock's BFF. His most popular video is the one denouncing me. Well, where he lied a lot in that video too. He lied a lot. And there have been a lot of people who've made videos about me just flat out lying. Just like the most crazy shit I've ever heard in my life. And that's another bizarre thing, by the way. That's another bizarre thing where people get off on like lying about you. It would never occur to me to go out of my way to such a great extent to make a hit piece video on someone. Like it truly like the people on the internet, man, these people are like bottom feeders. A lot of them, not all of them. A lot of them are bottom feeders. And I so regret ever I don't regret the community I have now. I'm really glad I have the community I have now. I feel like I'm in a pretty good place. But man, like some of the people on YouTube, some of the people who do stuff like this, what shitty human beings. What truly and sincerely shitty human beings. I did not know how low human beings could go until I was on the internet. I truly and sincerely had no idea how low human beings could go until I was on the internet. Let's see. Oh, dog person, and it's not even close. Dogs are so far superior to cats, it's not even funny. Is that Smith still chick still attacking you pointlessly? She's kind of stopped. I think that she has moved on with her insanity, which is good. She's still every once in a while she still tweets about me. Every like once in a blue moon. But her like her little cancel mob still talks about me all the time. Like all the people associated with her that just became totally obsessed with me to a really unhealthy, ridiculous degree. But she's more or less stopped. She is now a Christian cultist, and I'm not saying all Christians are in cults, but she's in a cult. She's like her church is a cult. I'm sorry, it just is. I'm sorry. It's not because it's Christian, it's because it's a cult. All right, I'm at the end of the chat. All right, let's do a last call for questions. Last call for questions, and then I'm gonna go to bed, I think. I feel like all these alliances are changing now. I feel like, this whole Middle East stuff has like thrown everything up in the air and like people have shown their true colors, and I feel like the real people are, like, finding each other. Like, there are people that I talk to now that I was at odds with a month ago, but now, like, I'm DMing back and forth with them all the time because it was like, in the course of all of this, the real people found each other, I think to some extent, and that's just been such an interesting thing. Like, I never expected things to get upended in the way that they have in the past month. Did I ever watch Lost? I did, I thought the ending sucked, like, really bad. The ending was such a letdown. And, like, the influencers have just gotten so bad lately. It's just like people who used to be normal people, man. Will we ever go full Marxist or see a nuke go off first? I mean, why not both? Why not both? I feel like I could name the authentic people that are out there on, like, both hands, and I wouldn't even need to, like, take my socks off and use my toes. There's just, like, no one. There's no one that's real. And I think that's part of the reason I've been, like, paying such attention to, like, Nick Fuentes because, like, I for all of his faults, and he has many, I at least perceive him to be a real human being. I mean, is that what you have to get pushed to? Do you really have to get pushed to just, like, the level where you've been smeared so badly that you just stop giving a fuck? Is that what's required to be authentic on the internet? Because it really does seem like everyone's gonna get smeared. Everyone's gonna have falsehoods said about them, and some people have more support than others when that happens. And it's like, I feel like there are some people that, like, I think I think, there are some people who experience it worse than others, and I think that the people who experience it really bad without a whole lot of support or backup, I think they're the ones that kind of at some point you just stop caring. Because really, like, why would you care? Like, people are gonna lie about you anyway. They're gonna lie about you anyway. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, they're gonna lie about you anyway, so is there any purpose to caring? Is there any benefit of caring? Because you're just gonna drive yourself crazy if you care about every single lie that's told about you, and that's when you really start making yourself miserable. Hey, Leia, it's good to see you. It has been a long time. I hope things are well. Am I afraid of people recognizing me in public? Mm, yeah, sometimes. But I don't have to deal with that as much as other people do, which is good. Um, but yeah, I mean, because the people who don't like me, like, really don't like me to the point where I would not be surprised if I got physically attacked someday. I really wouldn't. So, a little bit afraid, but not really for the most part because, again, like, I'm really doing my best to try to fly under the radar as much as I can. Thanks for what you do, longtime lurker/listener. Thank you, 3 Paragon. I'm glad you could, make it tonight. We could become acquainted. Do you have people recognize you? Yes, actually, I do. Oh my god. Do you guys remember when I was going to the Libertarian National Convention and I got stuck in Baltimore and I had to pay $2,000 to get an airline ticket because um, American Airlines essentially bent me over and fucked me really badly. And it ended up costing me $2,000 to get from Baltimore to Reno for the Libertarian National Convention. Well, as that was all happening, and I'm in the Baltimore airport, like, on the phone with American Airlines, like, I mean, laying into them a new one, and I was traveling, it was like I was, like, in an airport, right? So I was, like, wearing, like, a really baggy sweater and, like, a pair of leggings, and I probably wasn't looking my best, and I'm on the phone literally screaming at American Airlines because they fucked up so badly, and while I was screaming at American Airlines, this older gentleman in a wheelchair with his family come up to me and they're like looking at me weird and I'm barely paying attention because I'm on the phone screaming at American Airlines in the middle of the Baltimore airport. And the old man says to me, he reaches out and says, "Excuse me, are you Dr. Carlin?" And I was like, "No, not now. This is the worst possible timing for this to happen." It's like, "I watch your YouTube channel." I'm like, "No." I felt so bad because I was in such a shitty mood because I was having to deal with this like airline situation. And like there's nothing more stressful than like when you need to be somewhere and your airline is bending you over and fucking you. I felt so bad for him because it was like it's one of those times when I'm like, "Listen, I don't think I'm like a celebrity or anything. I don't think I'm like famous. I don't think I'm like any of these things. I'm just like a normal human being. I'm an average person. Like I'm no different than anyone else." And but like I know that other people view me differently and like people who watch my content religiously might view me differently. And so I feel like if someone does recognize me and they want to come up and say hi and like be nice to me in some way, like that's a big deal for them. Like, I may not see myself as like something that's anything special, but like I know that for other people, like that's a big deal for them to like see someone that they know and they're like, "Oh my god, I watched that person on the internet." And so I don't want to fuck up those things like when they do happen. And so I just felt so bad because I was in such a shitty mood and I didn't look good because I was in the airport and I was like screaming at American Airlines and like this really sweet old man in the wheelchair like recognized me as this was all happening and came up to like meet me and I was in such a shitty mood. I felt just so bad about it because I don't want to like take those moments away from people like when that happens because I know like if I saw someone that I admired and this has happened to me once or twice and like I saw them like out and I like wanted to just say hi and thank them like it's just like it's an awkward experience for the person like to run into someone that they know of in a different capacity. And so that was probably the most like the time that sticks out to me as the most crazy time when someone did recognize me in public and came up and said something. Yeah. Did I ever decide if I was gonna watch the most recent Candace Owens video? I don't wanna watch Candace Owens. I don't want to. Maybe, I don't know. Who would I like to meet that I haven't yet? Nick Fuentes. No, for real though. Who else would I like to meet that I haven't yet? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Oh, come on. You will do no such thing. Please. Please. You could give me a hug if we met in person, Catalyst. That's fine. That's fine. On a funnier note, did I see Cenk Uyghur's meltdown on Piers Morgan? No. I avoid Cenk Uyghur at all costs. I always have. Yeah, maybe it was maybe it was like me yelling at the airport was like the calling there that's Carlin yelling at the airport. Who would ever guess that I would make money yelling on the internet? Do you see what you do expanding into a bigger way? I don't know. I would like it to, but at the same time, it's tough, right? Because I've thought a lot about this. Like, I've thought a lot about this in terms of like, do I make a proactive effort to get my work in front of the eyes of more people? I don't know how to do that. I would, it's a, I would like, I would like my work to expand and to be in front of more people. At the same time, I am afraid of doing it in the wrong way, I think, because my platform grew so big in 2020 and it grew with the wrong audience is the problem. Like the audience I have now bears no resemblance to the audience that grew this platform. And I think that's a good thing. It's been like a positive shift in the right direction. It was something that needed to happen. But I'm really afraid of expanding what I'm doing in the wrong way to like the wrong audience because it was a goddamn nightmare to be able to transition my audience to what I have now, which I think is significantly better in terms of quality than in 2020. And some people, George says some of you, yeah, like there've been people that have been with me the whole time. But I've also been able to like transition and bring new people in and quite frankly, get a lot of people to leave. I would have another conversation with the Q shaman anytime. I love that guy. I think that guy's great. I think he's great. He's actually no, I would like to meet him in person. I would go Vision Quest with the Q shaman any day. If the Q shaman wants to do a Vision Quest, I will be in Arizona in a heartbeat. Like take my money, bro. I'm Vision Questing with you. I don't want to meet Yay. I don't want to meet Yay. I don't even know what I would say to him. You once used my yelling to annoy your roommate. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, John. See, I never wanna do this. I don't wanna do this is the thing. It's like, I really feel like I would never be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish if I did what Tim did. Now, and that's no shade against Tim. Tim is very successful. So this is truly and sincerely no shade. He is very successful. Good for him. But I think for me, I think it's like I feel like I would lose my soul and I'm doing everything I can to not do that. Like I don't want to play this clout chasing bullshit. I don't want to do any of this. It just doesn't interest me at all in any way. I don't know. Well, it still could. It still could. Don't count it out. Don't count it out. I would like to do a retreat in Arizona sometime, in Sedona specifically. I wanna do like a like community retreat sort of thing in Sedona sometime, maybe next year. Maybe we'll do that instead of Pork Fest. Anyway. I mean, I've been to Sedona in the summer, it's not that bad. But, like, Palm Springs in the summer is, like, a whole next level thing, like, Palm Springs is so, so hot. I used to go there all the time because my cousin lives there, but Sedona's beautiful. Lots of great crystals, hiking, cool things to see. There's a town near Sedona called Jerome, and Jerome is this old, like, copper mining town, and it's a town that's, like, literally built into, like, the side of a hill, and it's like an old mining town, and, in Jerome, they have a store that all they sell is kaleidoscopes. And I've got a really nice $400 kaleidoscope downstairs, and then I have this little baby kaleidoscope that oh, look at that, you can see! That you can wear around your neck. See, look, I'm trying to get it there I am. Can see me. Isn't that cool? But it's got all these beautiful kaleidoscopes, I mean, really just, like, super, super fancy kaleidoscopes. It's just, like, cool, like, I think that's why I said it, it's someone asked me, like, "What is the best feeling?" And I think the best feeling is, like, wonder, because it's like, I love it when I see something that's just, like, so cool or so unexpected, like a fucking fancy kaleidoscope. Like, that's cool. Or, like, a beautiful piece of art, or, like, a starry sky that's, like, so bright and you can pick out every star, like, we got great starry skies in New Hampshire. Like, stuff like that, that's the best feeling, I think. Like something that, like, takes you kind of, like, outside of whatever is preoccupying your mind, and it's just, like, so cool that you can't help but, like, look at it and get enthralled by it. Do the retreat for my birthday? Maybe. It's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. You have to go to the Grand Canyon. You have to. I went to the Grand Canyon last time I went to Sedona. It was like a several hour drive, I think. but it was so worth it. Like, you have to go to the Grand Canyon. You have to, Sarah. Come on. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. It's 2:30 in the morning. So, thank you guys. Good talk. Good talk. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Oh no. Good talk. Get the devil card on the bottom. Oh no, the devil's tarot cards. Ooh. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for asking some good questions. I hope I was at least somewhat entertaining. All right, I'll see you guys. Big socialism Saturday. We'll see you guys later. Bye.